I've arrived, and today we're going to be looking at part 4 of my vinyl collection. So, last video was just all of my Elvis stuff, and after that, there's not really too many E's. It's just one more E. So we're gonna go with this compilation of the Everly Brothers. I think it's actually later recordings of the Everly Brothers just doing their old hits. I don't know. I haven't listened to this version throughout, like the whole way through. But I think it's just I think it's just newly recorded at the time hits. So yeah, very best of the Everly Brothers. Then we're getting into some interesting, weird kind of territory. The First Class. This is a one-hit wonder. None of the people that are playing and singing on the record are any of these people. It was actually Actually, hold up. It's mainly just these two, I believe. Tony Burrows and I believe Chaz Mills were actually the only real members of the First Class. Everybody else was kind of just like, we're pretty much just a live act. How they are famous is they had a fairly decent-sized hit in 74 called Beach Baby, which pretty much is just the best Beach Boys song ever, not by the Beach Boys. I actually prefer that song to a lot of Beach Boys songs, so yeah, this is some good stuff. I bought this about a year ago. So yeah, the First Class. Now we're getting into a weird record. I picked this up maybe about a month ago. It's called Rock and Roll Party featuring Frankie Lyman. It's actually a various artists compilation, but I put it in Frankie Lyman. I put it F for Frankie Lyman. But yeah, it's got a lot of little, got a lot of doo-wop recordings. It's got a couple Frankie Lyman stuff, and then it's got stuff by the Cleft Tones and the Heartbeats and other things. But yeah, Frankie Lyman, Rock and Roll Party. Now I lost where, okay. We good, we Gucci. The only Frank Sinatra I have in my collection is My Way, and this was actually my granny's copy of My Way. But yeah. So, and this was also one of the first records I ever inherited. When I was getting into collecting, she gave this to me, so yeah. I was never that much of a Sinatra fan, but as I get older, I appreciate him more, and this album is actually really good. So yeah. Oh, we got a goodie next. Jerry Rafferty, City to City. He was a part of a duo called Steelers Wheel. I think it was actually a band. But yeah, and they had a song called Stuck in the Middle with You, which was that was one of my mom's favorite songs. And he went solo in the late 70s. This came out in 78, and he's got the two singles that are off of this album are just, oh my gosh, they're amazing. Baker Street and Right Down the Line. Now, the version I have is the speed mastering error, where they actually are slightly more sped up, which is the versions you typically will hear on the radio. If you go to stream this, though, it will sound slower. But I actually prefer the faster version. So, yeah. Gary Rafferty, City to City. And then we got, this is a grail. This was a grail. Original pressing of Gene Vincent in the Blue Caps Blue Jean Bop. Oh my gosh. I had been on the look for this for about 2 years or so, and I found it this past summer. And oh my gosh, I about crapped myself when I found this, and I didn't have to pay over $100. Plays pretty nicely. It's crackly, but it's in decent condition for just how old this album is. So yeah, that was a nice find. And then I do have another copy of that, which is a 2006 reissue. Yeah, I actually got this. This was like a year ago, and this was kind of a placeholder. But now I have them both, and I'll probably keep them both because this one definitely plays better. But it's so cool having this. It's so cool having them both. And then, oh, I forgot I had this in my collection. I thought I sold this. This is Glen Campbell, Gentle on My Mind. I forgot I had this. But yeah, some good stuff like Glen Campbell right here. A record collecting friend of mine had this. I had this in my collection for a while, at least a couple years before Glen Campbell died. But yeah, I thought I sold this, but and I was kind of bummed because I thought I did, but now I'm happy. I'm happy to have that. It's awesome. All right, now we're getting into the Grateful Dead. This is a newer, maybe not too new. It's definitely from the 2010s. Pressing of the debut album by the Grateful Dead. Pretty good psych stuff. I know a crap ton of people who hate the Dead, so I may go a little fast. But Working Man's Dead, this is actually an original pressing with the upside down back cover. Some good stuff. And then last Grateful Dead album I have is Wake of the Flood. Original pressing as well. This is when they started releasing stuff off of Grateful Dead records, I believe. So yeah. And then next, we're getting into the Green Day stuff. 39 Smooth. And it does have the two singles, or the two EPs that came, like 1,000 Hours and Slappy. And I put those with my 7-inch singles and stuff, which I'll show in the last video for my record collecting stuff. Then we got my favorite Green Day album, Kerplunk. I'm not as big into Green Day as I used to be, but I still respect at least most of their stuff. I don't respect that new album. That new album was absolute crap, if I'm going to be honest. All right, then we got Dookie. Of course, a classic. I think it's a little overhyped, but it's still good. It's still good. Now, I do have a compilation, and this is typically what I would say is my go-to Green Day international super hits. I know it's a compilation. I know some people would be like, that's not a real album, but honestly, out of all of the Green Day albums I've listened to the most, it's probably this one. It's just the right amount of material. And then I do have, and this one's I got about a month ago, Green Day's American Idiot. This is kind of the last Green Day album that I think is good. And then after that, I kind of taper off. I'm not too big on 21st Century Breakdown. I think the trilogy is meh. Revolution Radio is okay. And then Father of All was just terrible, and you should feel bad if you like that. No, I'm kidding. This is an interesting story. Hino. Great Hits number 6. So, there's a story behind this. So I was with my then friend, now girlfriend, and we were at the record store, and I had told her about this guy named Hino, and he was just this, he's kind of like the Tom Jones, the Elvis Presley of Germany, and we were just browsing around the record store, and I freaked out when I saw this, and I was like, and it was crazy. It was, and every time we hang out or when we're just talking about music, we'll often bring him up, so it's a fun little memory I have, and I believe that is his autograph. I did kind of look at similar autographs, and it did look pretty real, so yeah. Hino. German Schlager stuff, so it's not for everybody. It's pretty hideous music, I'm not gonna lie. Now we're going into the Hermits collection. I have Hermits on tour. Best of Hermits. This is not in the greatest of condition. But, yeah. And then Hold On by Hermits. This is the soundtrack to the movie Hold On, which they did have. So like the Beatles, they had a couple movies. And then I'd say this next one is probably their best as a whole. Blaze. Just a great album in general. It's not on streaming, unfortunately. So if you ever do find a copy of this in the wild, I would definitely get this. It's some good stuff. And then both sides of Hermits. This is a compilation. Pretty good comp, too. Corners are kind of bent and stuff like that, so it's not in the most perfect condition, but the record is good. And then we have an 80s compilation, I think. It's either a 70s or an 80s compilation. Hermits, Their Greatest Hits. Kind of like a Warhol kind of cover, too. So, yeah. Alrighty. Then we got the Hondells. Go Little Honda. I said that the First Class was the Beach Baby was the best Beach Boys song not made by the Beach Boys. I'd say this is number 2. And this was written by the Beach Boys. And the Beach Boys eventually did a version of this. Or maybe it was around the same time, but this was the version that picked up steam. Good stuff. I think this is fairly rare. I don't know. It's always like, I always see it in like the collector wall of record stores whenever they have a copy of this. And I got this for like $10. So, yeah. And then Iron Butterfly, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. That's right. Classic psychedelic rock with a jamming second side. One long song, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. And supposedly this was the best-selling album of all time until Led Zeppelin 4 came out. And then we got, this is a new acquisition, Janis Joplin's Greatest Hits. I guess I could technically put this with the Big Brother and Holding Company, but I just haven't. Some good stuff. I'm not the biggest Janis Joplin fan, but I respect her and I like some of their songs, so yeah. Janis Joplin. This is another one from my grandparents, Jan and Dean, Drag City. Jan and Dean is probably, they're definitely a good surf duo. I would say, though, if you're going to listen to Jan and Dean, I just listen to the hits. I mean, there's some nice stuff on here. Dead Man's Curve was the big hit off of here, and I do like Drag City. But then you got stuff like Schlock Rod, and it's pretty terrible. I'm not going to lie. Not everything that was made in the 60s was great. You all you freaking... I was born in the wrong generation. Trust me, no you weren't. Alright, now this is probably the biggest grail in my collection right here. This is the most money I ever paid for one record. Original pressing of Jerry Lee Lewis's first album. This is a Sun Records version. It's not in the best... it's in decent condition. I mean, there's a little bit of sun fading right there. Ironic. But, I did pay a lot of money. A lot of money to me. I paid like $100 for this. Because it is not really an album you're going to find anywhere, really. So I took the chance, put it for the 50s rock collection. Had to have it. And then I do have the second Jerry Lee Lewis album, although this is an 80s repress. Jerry Lee Lewis Greatest. Jerry Lee's Greatest. Some more good stuff. I love me some Jerry Lee. I actually just picked up a CD of his not too long ago. And then lastly, for the Jerry Lee collection, I do have this gospel album, or maybe it's a country album. I've never listened to this, and honestly, I don't know if I will. But it's for the collection. This was in my aunt's collection. She gave this to me along with a bunch of other Monkees albums, so yeah. And then we've got this is another one from that same collection. This is John Denver. Yeah, Spirit. I like John Denver. I like the hits from him at least. He's got a very calm kind of demeanor that I can get down with. So yeah, John Denver, Spirit. I've always wanted to get the greatest hits of his. I just never have. Now, if I had an original of this next one, I'd be swimming in cash. It's Johnny Burnett and the Rock and Roll Trio. And this is some amazing rockabilly. I would say Johnny Burnett is one of the most underrated rockabilly artists just ever. Great stuff. This is a wax time reissue because the original is high in price. I've seen a beat up copy of this go for $1,000. That's what I'm talking about. If I had an original, I would... Oh man, I would be pissing. That's all I can say. Alright, and then this is another reissue. This is of Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash's first album. Johnny Cash with his hot and blue guitar. It's a reissue. I actually bought this at the Sun Studios itself. So, yeah, can never go wrong with having Johnny Cash in your collection. I do want to get an original of that, but it looks like it won't be that hard to get because I've seen they're not as pricey. And then this is a original 59 Sun is written on the sleeve of Johnny Cash Greatest. A lot of good stuff on here. His version of You Win Again is on here. I Forgot to Remember to Forget. Get Rhythm. All the good stuff. And then we got another reissue of a Sun album. I think it's a compilation. It's original Sun sound. It's got a lot of different stuff, like his version of Goodnight Irene and Country Boy, Two-Timing Woman. And then we got, this is the big one, Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. Probably the best live album ever, in my opinion. Great stuff. Great stuff. If you can get a copy of this, I would recommend it. This is the album that turned me on to Johnny Cash and to country music in general. Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. And then I got the Essential Johnny Cash. Had a gift card to Best Buy, and I got this for that. So, yeah. Essential Johnny Cash. Now we're still in country, and this guy unfortunately died earlier this year. Kenny Rogers. I've never been too huge into Kenny, but I respect him. I like some of his stuff, and this was given to me by a friend. So yeah, Kenny Rogers and his greatest hits. This is probably going to be the only Kenny Rogers album I'll own. So why not? Why not have it? All right, original pressing of King Crimson's In the Court of the Crimson King. U.S. pressing, at least. But yeah, King Crimson, 21st Century Schizoid Man is a bop. Wow, we're at 18 minutes. We'll keep going until about 20 or 25. Who knows? Kiss Destroyer, original pressing. Good stuff. People crap on Kiss, but I like him. And then we have Kiss is Animalized. This is an original pressing from my godparents. So, yeah. And then I'm going to show two more albums, and then we will call it a day. Lagwagon's Hoss. Skate Punk Legends, Lagwagon. Great stuff. This is actually the 2 LP version that has a lot of outtakes and other B-sides. Some good stuff. Lagwagon's Hoss. And then one of my favorite albums of all time, I do like Hoss a lot though, and it's up there, is Lagwagon's Let's Talk About Feelings. Great album all the way through. It's like NoFX's Punk and Drublic, but it's awkward little teenage brother, and it just works so well. This is also the 2-record set version with a bunch of outtakes. But yeah, so that is it. Next collection video, we are going to be starting off with Led Zeppelin. Take care.